Whimsical Charm was created when I was looking to purchase a unique baby blanket as a baby shower gift. Everything I found at the stores all looked the same to me. So I decided to make one myself. The gift was a hit at the baby shower, but it wasn't until months later when my friend told me that my blanket was the only blanket they carried with them. So her baby gravitated to my blanket. So when she told me that, I knew I had something going on.
Welcome to Raise the Bar Smart Money Podcast. Your host, Juan Pablo Delgado, who is a business owner and financial pro, will take you with business owners, professionals, and people who are in the hustle. Raise the Bar Smart Money Podcast es un espacio para cotorrear sobre negocios, emprendimiento, la vida misma y el billete. Bienvenidos.
Rosie, before resuming the story on how you started your business, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and what you think people should know about Rosie Arias.
So I'm a mom to a beautiful 19-year-old daughter. I grew up in a household with two working parents, one creative and one entrepreneur. My mom taught me how to sew at the early age of 7. My dad had his own business, and growing up, I always knew I wanted to work for myself, and fashion was always an interest. So I have a degree in fashion design and a degree in business administration, and that's a little bit about my background.
Me encanta. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so you were telling us about how you started your business. So you were looking to purchase a unique baby blanket for a gift in a baby shower. Then you realized every baby blanket looked the same to you, and you decided to create one yourself. And then what happens?
So the gift was a hit at the baby shower, but it wasn't until months later when my friend told me that my blanket was the only blanket they carried with them. So her baby gravitated to my blanket. So when she told me that, I knew I had something going on. Yeah, so that's what kind of started. And then from there, I spent 2 years in research and development. So working in the fashion industry, I was already familiar with regulations in baby apparel. I was doing my best to avoid using any trims or anything that would cause me to complete extra testings or spend extra money out of pocket. Yeah, I ultimately decided to move forward with creating unique techniques with thread, and that's how I was able to avoid extra investments in testing, was utilizing thread and embroidery.
And how long have you been in your business?
I've been in the fashion industry, in the industry itself. I've been in the industry since 1999. The Whimsical Charm I established in 2000. I incorporated in 2011. So then the first 2 years were the research and development. And 2013, in the holiday season of 2013, is when I sold my first blanket at a church like festival. They were having like a holiday boutique, and I sold my first 8 blankets within a couple hours.
Wow, that's wonderful. And tell me a little bit more about struggles within these 2 years of research and development, because, well, it's time and money.
Absolutely. So at that time, I was working full-time in the fashion industry. So I was working as a technical, at the time, I was manager of the technical design department. And while I was working full time, I started the development. And I'm really glad I did, because that's when I was, I took the evenings and I took the weekends to do the research and development, but then I also funded the research and development with the income I was receiving. So not just, so it wasn't just hours that I was putting into the business. It was also starting it and funding it with the fabrications that I wanted to use, testing the fabrics, testing my concepts. So of course you had to buy all of that, and then slowly but surely, then I started reserving my name, right, as a DBA, or registering for the the business, and all of that takes money. So I was working full time for quite a while. I was working full time within these first 2 years of the research and development, but then I still continued having a part-time job while continuing to work on my business and grow it.
Right, exactly. That was intense. I can relate, because I was in the same page a few years ago when I was working, and then at the same time trying to start my business back in Mexico. So I completely understand and relate to your story. And of course, a lot of people want to be a successful entrepreneur. They want to have financial independence. And Rosie, can you share some of your insights, or maybe some of the most important financial lessons that you learned?
Yes, so there was definitely a few financial lessons, but one of them was, I would say, was cash flow. So so understanding the investment when you're starting your own business, at first you get happy and excited about what you want to create. And then you don't always think about the financing that comes with it. So for me, cash flow was one of the biggest financial challenges, or struggles. And then, because first I went through the development, then when I started, the development was one thing, right? The funds from my employer, right, from my savings account, was going towards my development. And then when I started selling my product, then the cash flow was a whole different subject, because then I had to learn how to flow the cash flow. Because at first I just thought, because I saw money in my bank account, I thought I was able to spend it, right? But then I learned that I had to budget and spread that cash flow, or spread that wealth, right, into the low producing months. Or I had to expand that as far as I possibly could. And even though I had money in the bank, I learned very quickly and realized that those funds were shared amongst, they had to be shared amongst inventory, with supplies. If I wanted to go to an event, I had to pay for that event, but also, most importantly, taxes. Like, for me, I felt like the topic of taxes for me wasn't priority, because I wanted to get my product out there. So for me, all of this was at the bottom of the page. It wasn't something that I was thinking about early on. So the cash flow for me, and budgeting for the items that are needed, such as taxes, was a lesson that a financial lesson that I had to learn very quickly. And it was a struggle. It was a real struggle.
What are your thoughts about financial independence?
So, for financial independence, I think it's something everyone should strive for. For example, it's important for me to have a savings account. It's important for me to support my family. It's important for me to progress in my business. It's important for me to, purchase a car, pay for living expenses, plus, purchase a house. And, ultimately, one day I'm going to want to retire and see and feel secure with the funds that I have. So for me, it's super important, those are my thoughts on financial independence. I think everyone should strive for it, and especially if you have children in the household, even if you have just younger siblings, nieces, and nephews. This is how, me personally, I want my daughter to view the importance of financial freedom also. And, what better way than to be the best example for the little ones, in your life.
100% agree with you, and thank you for sharing that. And Rosie, what accomplishments are you most proud of, and why? Of course, you start your business from scratch, and everything started with a blanket, and now you have a business running. That's a great accomplishment. But what else beside the business are you most proud of?
Well, aside the business, aside from just the business product in general, I am, the other accomplishments that I am proud of is that I'm able to incorporate other programs with my business. I've been able to provide mentorships and working skills to youth and, to youth and underserved, disadvantaged communities, right? So those who may be growing up or may have grown up in poverty or may not have the resources. So I've been able to bring youth into my work site to do that. I've been able to participate in other nonprofit organizations by donating to children in need at the borders. Those are big accomplishments, and ultimately being able to raise my daughter to be independent and showing her that she can do anything she puts her mind to.
Oh, wow. I love it. Qué bien. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. And before we switch in Espanol, what's the best way for the community to get in touch with you or your company?
Sure. So I have a website, and it's the business name, which is Whimsical Charm, and it's spelled WHIMSICALCHARM.com. But that's all of my social media. That's my website, that's my Facebook, that's my Instagram, my Twitter. I have a TikTok, Pinterest, so everything is at Whimsical Charm.
Got it. And now we are going to switch a little bit in español.
Okay.
Así que, Rosy, platícame, no sé qué líderes, mentores o empresarios respetas o has tenido.
El primero que viene a mi mente es Brian Smith, que él es el fundador de UGS. Cuando estaba en un seminario, él estaba platicando allí. Y sus luchas, lo que platicaba él, era exactamente lo que yo pasaba, exactamente lo que yo pasé cuando comencé mi negocio. So, él fue, una de las primeras personas que miré como un líder y un mentor en lo que estaba haciendo. Otra persona fue John Galliano, y él es diseñador de alta costura, y a mí me gusta diseñar así, y así es como diseño. Vera Wang, igual, diseñadora de vestidos de novia. Eduardo Lucero, que es diseñador en Los Ángeles de vestidos de ocasión especial. Otra persona es Warren Buffett, que él es inversor en las bolsas bolsas de valeros. Y
valores,
de valores. Y ellos son algunas personas que desde el principio siempre los tenía allí como te decía, ellos fueron buenos ejemplos, ¿verdad? En lo que yo estaba tratando de hacer.
Rosy, ¿qué legado te gustaría dejar?
Yo creo que quiero ser conocida como alguien que se preocupaba por su comunidad, dándole la oportunidad a estos jóvenes, ¿verdad? También para ser conocida como alguien que fue como una defensora de los jóvenes en estas comunidades desfavorecidas o desventajadas, ¿verdad? Y también como alguien que fue dispuesta a ayudar a los estudiantes que están estudiando diseño, porque allí es donde me enfoco mucho en mi negocio también, aparte del producto, son los jóvenes.
Oh, excelente. No, pues felicidades por eso, Rosy, y muchas gracias por compartirlo. Y antes de concluir, ¿algún mensaje final que te gustaría decir, que te gustaría compartir?
Para los que están empezando o los que están en su negocio ahorita, ¿verdad? Empezando o si ya están, como sea, yo les diría que escriben sus metas, sus objetivos y encuentran la forma de lograrlos. Cuando pueden, que ahorren 10% de cada venta para impuestos. O sea, porque eso fue súper difícil para mí. Que piden ayuda porque uno no lo puede hacer solo.
Exacto.
Y que sean miembros de un SBA, de una organización que les vaya a poder ayudar a seguir adelante con sus negocios.
Excelentes consejos.
Gracias, muchas, Juan Pablo.
Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed and learned from this podcast interview. Keep raising the bar with belief, action, and results. If you're looking for more valuable content, please visit our YouTube channel, Raise the Bar. Hasta pronto.